My colleagues and I are here today to talk about truth in science education and why it matters. The CO2 Coalition was established in 2015 as a nonpartisan science educational organization. Our primary education focus is about the important contribution of carbon dioxide in our world. The CO2 Coalition currently has 160 members to include many scientists, physicists, chemists, geologists, and more, as well as economists, engineers, computer scientists, and energy experts. Our members are all noteworthy in their fields of expertise and include such impressive names as Dr. William Happer, our chairman, Princeton Professor Emeritus, Dr. John Clauser, a 2022 Nobel laureate in physics, and Dr. Patrick Moore, co-founder of Greenpeace. As Gordon mentioned, I am the Vice President of Marketing and Multimedia at the CO2 Coalition. I was recently promoted and given that title, and I will say I am truly honored, but not because of the title, but because of the people that gave me the title, that I admire so much and get to work with every day. My main purpose in being here today is to tell you about our awesome CO2 Learning Center. In 2019, about 15 members of the CO2 Coalition formed an education committee because they were concerned about the state of science education in America. They were concerned that information about carbon dioxide was not honest, was not true. We were concerned about science education in American schools and included in taxpayer-funded curricula because it included indoctrination and encouraged students to follow consensus science and groupthink. Our objective was to assist educators by providing materials that teach the importance of carbon dioxide and the scientific method and critical thinking skills. This image is from our new CO2LearningCenter.com website. The caricatures, these are mostly the leaders of the team, but if you go to our About page, you'll see that our incredible visual arts advisor, Tiago Hellinger, has created caricatures for each of our members, and they're really fun. Our team members mostly hold PhDs or advanced degrees, and 2 members are members of the National Academy of Sciences. Our education committee meets every 2 weeks, and all of the members contribute their time and their effort and expertise so that we can provide credible science materials to educators and students. Now I'll tell you a little bit about the materials that we have available at the CO2 Learning Center. Dr. Nascimento here, she works with Tiago, our visual arts designer, to do all the drawings for the books and the videos. She helps him with the science so that everything is very scientifically accurate, and she works with him very closely from start to finish on every project. So thank you, Rafaela, for your efforts. And Dr. Camp, she creates our very excellent and thorough lesson plans. And she includes wonderful activity suggestions, and everyone who sees these are so impressed. We hope you'll stop by our table to see them. And when we've been going to these homeschool conventions and conventions meeting teachers, and when they look at our materials, they say, "You even have lesson plans?" And so thank you, Dr. Camp, for your efforts. The first book in our first series is Once Upon a Time, the true story about the miracle molecule carbon dioxide. This book discusses what is CO2, why CO2 is necessary for life on Earth, and that increasing CO2 makes plants grow faster and stronger. All books are written by Dr. Gordon Fulks, a member of our education committee, who is a retired astrophysicist. So sometimes I say, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to write a book about carbon dioxide, but we have one. The second book in this series is Simon the Solar-Powered Cat. And this book teaches students that plants store energy from the sun, that photosynthesis uses carbon dioxide and water to make food, and that food contains energy from the sun, so animals are solar powered, which children think that's really cool too when you think about that. And we're finding that children really like Simon, the character Simon, and this is a little bit of a spoiler alert, but there's one part in this book where Simon dresses like a ninja cat to go sneak some food from the barn next door. The third book in this series is The Magic Mirror, Reflections on Recycling. We take a little bit of a different approach to recycling that maybe most Americans think of. We teach in this book that nature is the most important recycler, and that nature and man-made processes break all materials down into carbon dioxide and water. The first 3 books we have at our table, we have some packets prepared that have the first 3 books and a lesson plan, and we would love for you to stop by and pick up a packet and get my card and let me know if you have a charter school or homeschooler that might be interested in these books. And I also want to add that we have 2 new books coming to this series. We have The Big Bad Wolf that discusses the basics of climate and the truth about climate, and Mystery of the Night Raiders, which discusses the scientific method, and the girls, the characters in the book, they must use these steps and critical thinking to solve the mystery. And now to our videos. We also have videos. The first video that we produced is Gases in the Air. It's the first of 5 that we offer at CO2learningcenter.com and also on our YouTube channel, CO2 Learning Center. As I mentioned, our visual arts director, Tiago Hellinger, provides illustration and animations for our videos. Our education committee chairman, Payne Kilborn, has worked closely with Tiago and Rafaela on all the details of each video. Payne couldn't make it here today, but I would like to give a shout out to him for all that he does for our education committee and for keeping our projects running so smoothly. Our second video, Gases Come Alive, describes the major gaseous components in air. It also describes how these components are used by life, providing a thorough explanation of photosynthesis. The third video we created is Where the Gases Come From. This teaches how CO2 is formed, what percentage of the air is CO2, and how CO2 is used by plants. Our fourth video switches to water. It is The Magic Molecule, Part 1, and it teaches what a water molecule is and the properties of water. Our fifth video is The Magic Molecule Part 2, and this video teaches how water plays an important role in moving heat around the earth and how water helps make our weather and climate livable. We have The Magic Molecule Part 3 coming very soon and more awesome videos in the works. We also, as we talk to a lot of teachers, these are short videos. They're about 4 minutes. A new video that we're creating, Life Loves Warmth, is longer, probably about 20 minutes or so. And we talk to educators and they say, this is so great because we also have the lesson plans that go along. So the students can watch, you can pause, and then the educator has the lesson plans that help teach as you go along with watching the videos. And that brings me to my next slide, lesson plans and activities. As I mentioned, at CO2learningcenter.com, you can find all of our lesson plans, and they include learning standards and goals, background information for instructors, suggested activities, formative and summative questions, and as I mentioned, all were created by Dr. Sharon Camp, who, as you can tell, she knows her stuff. And she has done an excellent job with the lesson plans, and I hope that you all have an opportunity to go to our website and look through our lesson plans. A very popular section of our CO2learningcenter.com website is our fun facts section. There are 10 fun facts included, and then when you flip the card over, it tells more information and provides credible sources. Our climate quiz is also very popular at the CO2LearningCenter.com. As of now, it has 18 commonly held misconceptions about climate change. I'd be interested for all of you to go to CO2LearningCenter.com climate quiz and take the quiz for yourself and see if you understand all of the questions. And then the great thing is all of these have sources, and so you just don't have to take our word for it. There's a lot of sources provided. In conclusion, I would just like to say, if you're concerned about science education in Pennsylvania, the CO2 Coalition and the CO2 Learning Center have incredible resources for you. Last year alone, we distributed more than 5,000 print books, as well as many lesson plans. We attended 2 conferences for science teachers, one in Texas and one in Georgia. We also attended our first homeschool conference in Atlanta, Georgia. And this year, we'll be attending conventions providing free materials for all in California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. And I would like to note that as a nonprofit organization, we provide all of our materials at no cost to educators, whether you're a public school, private school, homeschool educator. And so right now, we're targeting homeschool groups and charter schools and private schools because they're free to have the science materials that they want. But what we're finding, as Rafaela mentioned, we're finding that a lot of public school teachers are saying these materials won't be welcome in our school. If I bring this to my school, I'm going to get fired. So that's another problem that we'll have to address. But as of now, we're trying to get all of our materials to charter schools, private schools, and homeschool groups, and we provide them at no charge with a lot of resources. And I would like to close by telling you about a wonderful new series that is coming soon. The series is being written by our CO2 Coalition Executive Director, Gregory Wrightstone. Some of you may be familiar with him, a former Pennsylvanian. The first book, Chloe the Clownfish Sleeps Well, is part of a series for younger children, toddler to about 2nd grade, with beautiful storybook images by Tiago Hellinger that tells a comforting story that the Great Barrier Reef is doing quite well. The book's message goes along with a CO2 Coalition billboard that some of you may have seen driving down the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And it says, "Sleep well, there is no climate crisis."